Hello, Candace.
Not you again.
Me again. Remember our last oil change? Your boyfriend said he knew a guy who knew a guy. None of those guys knew what they were doing, including you, Todd.
Silence your oil change anxiety at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch our experts change your oil right from your car.
Thanks for coming in.
And finish in about 15 minutes. Valvoline. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
This episode of Tap and Step is presented by Cover Zero Analytics, the leaders in next-level football data. Cover Zero delivers predictive matchup previews, classification-based grading, and customized analysis to football coaches who want more than the same old breakdown of tendencies. With Cover Zero, football coaches now have a tool that can measure all aspects of their team's performance. Cover Zero is built entirely around smarter data analysis, helping thousands of coaches find winning edges that don't always appear in film study. If you're a football coach looking for an extra advantage, Cover Zero invites you to join the hundreds of premier programs that have taken their scouting intel to the next level. Ready to see how the best teams win? Start with Cover Zero Analytics. Find out more at coverzeroanalytics.com. That's coverzeroanalytics.com.
Hey, Greg Tepper. Do I have a Thanksgiving glow about me?
Tap and Step, your premium Texas high school football podcast from your friends at Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. I am the Tep, Greg Tepper.
Live from international parts unknown, I am the Stepp, Matt Stepp.
I will say this as you are in Canada. I was thinking about this as we were logging on. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this. The Canadian national anthem, certified banger.
Oh yeah, it slaps. It's
great, and it because so here's the thing. In my opinion, okay. By the way, let's introduce Tiny VNA Moreno. Hi, Tiny VNA Moreno.
Hi guys.
Right there.
Yeah, right there ish. I think I don't know. Whatever. In my opinion, the ultimate purpose of a national anthem is to be sung by a crowd at a sporting event, right?
Mm-hmm. Fair.
All due respect to the American national anthem, it's fine being sung at a sporting event. Oh, Canada goes.
Yeah. You know who else has a national anthem that slaps?
Who's that?
South Africa. Go listen to the South Africa national anthem, like before the rugby championships or whatever. There's a bunch of videos of it on YouTube.
Yeah.
It goes pretty hard.
It's like, for example, like I don't like when they sing God Save the Queen or God Save the King now. First of all, kind of wild they changed the words of their national anthem depending on the monarch.
Yeah.
Okay. But also it's like, okay. Like, and they have mastered the art of a large stadium of people singing the same thing, like the Euros have. But that one is not very good. The French.
That's your homework assignment. Give the South African national anthem a whirl and see what you think.
This is your Week 8 preview edition of Tap and Step. We do thank you for being a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber or not. But if you would please go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.
We have playoff projections. Real Snapshot Day is coming.
Yes.
Let me tell you, if you want the scoop on Snapshot Day this year, you're going to need to be a subscriber. Just saying.
TexasFootball.com/subscribe. So make sure you go and check out all of that. We have a lot to get to, including a Week 7 recap and a Week 8 game draft. With some, I got to tell you, here's a tease. I think our boards are going to be very different.
Okay.
Because I don't know that there is one game this week that stands above all others. I think that there is a good crop of pretty good games at the very top, which could make for a dicey.
Can I put a warning out?
Okay.
The Week 10 game draft, Halloween. I was looking at the schedule. Halloween night. Not only is it going to be spooky, there are going to be a ton of the Halloween Week 10 game draft. it's going to be wild. I'm just saying. Week 10 is that. Remember, there's always 1 week where we're like, all the bangers are this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's week 10, Tepper.
I think
2 weeks out. Just giving you a heads up.
Prepare
yourselves now, people. Prepare.
My loins are girded.
Oh yes, football pants are going crazy.
But first, Matthew, we will start as we always do with your Texas high school football fun fact of the week, presented by Cover Zero Analytics. If we had another camera, I would show you. I'm sitting at the desk, and there's a Cover Zero Analytics banner on the front of the desk.
Throw a big graphic up right now. Throw a big
Boom.
graphic. Cover Zero.
Blam.
Yeah.
Plow. Biff. It's coverzeroanalytics.com. They are the ones who give us all of our numbers. So when you hear a number from us, it's from Cover Zero. Well, let me rephrase. If you hear a smart number from us, then it's from Cover Zero Analytics. If you hear a dumb number from us, it's from us.
If it's smart, it's handcrafted by Cover Zero.
They have got those inside stats that are going to help take your high school football program to the next level. Give them a call. Here's the funny thing about them, and I think this is a poor business model, as I can just criticize a advertiser here. They'll just show you everything they've got, like for free. If you just give them a call, they'll be like, "Hey, we'll show you what we can do."
I've seen Jacob do this at coaching school, where coaches are like, "Hey, show me," and he's like, "Okay." He pulls out a computer and is like, "Check this cool stuff out, dude."
They'll give you basically like a free demo. Which see, I'd make them. This is me. I'd make them pay. That's me. I don't want to tell Cover Zero how to do their business. It's obviously working for them. It's working for hundreds of high school football programs across the state. CoverZeroAnalytics.com. Go give them a call and let them show you what they got.
If you're going to the playoffs, you might want to give Cover Zero a call.
I would especially say that when you get in the playoffs, because okay, now we're just going on with the read here, but in district play, you got a lot of tape on these teams. You've come to you probably it's the second time you're playing these teams in a realignment cycle. Once you get into the playoffs, you're playing some teams you've never heard of. But I'll tell you who's heard of them.
Cover Zero.
Absolutely. CoverZeroAnalytics.com. Check them out. Matt Stepp, your Texas high school football fun fact of the week. Congratulations to our friend Riley Dodge, who became the fastest coach to 100 wins in Texas high school football, UIL Texas high school football, 11-man Texas high school football history. He goes, in 109 games, he wins 100 games.
That seems good.
Yes.
Seems good.
We mentioned that he surpasses Gary Joseph by 1 game. So first on that list is Riley Dodge, 109 games. Gary Joseph, 110. Matt Stepp, who's third on that list? The third fastest coach to 100 wins in UIL 11-man history.
Man, that's a good question. You got in your bag on this one. Did Steve Wood get to 100 wins at Aledo?
So that's an excellent guess. It really is an excellent guess because Steve Wood was on pace. But he finished 75-5. So he almost certainly would have, barring like the most un-Aledo program history, he would have gotten there. But no,
Aledo
it's not
goes
Steve
11-2, and then the question is, what's wrong with Aledo? They went 11-2.
Wrong with Aledo, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You have one more guess?
Maybe somebody who's done really well. Did Chris Ketting get to 100 really fast at Canadian?
That's an excellent guess. He is 8th on the list. We'll go down from there. Chris Ketting did in 114 games, as did Terry Gamble. In 113 games, you had a trio of coaches. Butch Ford did it at Salina.
Okay.
D.W. Rutledge did it at Judson. Pretty good coach. And currently going, Brady Carney did it in 113 games.
Oh, shout out Coach Carney.
112 games in 4th place, Hank Carter from Lake Travis.
Okay. Yeah.
But in 3rd place, the recently retired Kevin Hoffman. Kevin Hoffman got there in 111 games, just 1 game fewer than, or 1 game more than Gary Joseph, who was 1 game more than Riley Dodge. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know who's on a strong pace? Ray Gates at North Crowley.
Oh yeah, because he's lost 1 game.
Well, no, he's lost.
Two, no,
he's lost 3.
3. Yeah.
Lost
He's
to
probably
Prosper because he was
look this up.
he was 42-2, I think, going into this year. Or something.
I can actually look this up. Ray Gates's record is 47-3 as it stands right now.
Yeah. So through 50 games, he's got 47 wins. So
he is on pace. He is on pace.
Yeah.
So there it is, your Texas high school football fun fact of the week. All right, Matthew. Week 7 has come and it has gone, and there are a couple of big high profile games I want to make sure we touch on before we get going. It was actually the first one was the Thursday night affair that I made my number 1 game in my top 10 games of the week. CE King and Summer Creek. And Matt Stepp, I think it's time to talk about CE King in a very different way.
I think we talk about CE King as a real threat in Region 3 at this point. They got the juice. I think I tweeted it. I said they have the juice, and they've got a lot of juice. They operate it. It's like that, you listen to a podcast and it's on, 1.5 or 2 speed. That's how CE King plays. They play at like 2 speed, They're just so fast. Deion Sims is obviously the bell cow, but they've got a lot of other guys that can make plays. And I thought their defense doesn't get a lot of talk about. They played really well against Summer Creek, especially in the first half. Now, if you're a Summer Creek fan, you're thinking, okay, we're not going to be down 42-0. Everything that could have gone wrong in that first half went wrong for us. We got it together in the second half. We just dug ourselves too big of a hole. And you might be right. I mean, they outscored CE King 42-0 in the second half. But does some of that come into play? Did CE King let their foot off the gas? Did they get conservative? Those types of things. So I think there is a greater than 0 chance we see that matchup again in a regional final. I think, now I tweeted something last night talking about the playoffs.
I know where you're going with this.
I think there is a chance that Katy now goes into the Division II bracket. Still a lot to play out in 19-6A, but in my current projections right now, I have Katy in the Division II bracket. So makes things a lot more interesting. I think it makes Division 6A Division I Region 3 will be interesting no matter what. There's so many good football teams. Dumping Katy into the Division II bracket makes 6A Division II Region 3 infinitely more interesting.
Oh yeah, you dump nitroglycerin into an already exciting and much more wide open area. Yeah. Okay, Duncanville DeSoto. I think I come out of that game feeling okay about both teams. That's a weird thing to say because I know DeSoto's super disappointed with the way that it worked out. I don't feel like I'm like selling my DeSoto stock here. I feel like they acquitted themselves well. One team had Maximus Denson and the other one didn't.
Yeah. One thing, commentary about the Duncanville DeSoto game. We hype it up every year because of the talent. How many years has it been competitive? It's not competitive very often. And more often than not, it's Duncanville putting the whooping stick to DeSoto. And now credit to DeSoto. It was 28-6 at one point. DeSoto gets a couple of scores late. Duncanville gets it done. 2 things, though. Duncanville was without KJ Ford, the Florida commit. Their other defensive. Landon Barnes had a monster game for Duncanville. Yeah, but they didn't have KJ Ford. They have KJ Ford. Does DeSoto do a lot of the damage that they did? And Duncanville's best cover corner, Victor Lincoln, sat out the first half because he got ejected from the last game. DeSoto did most of their damage offensively in the first half. Once you added Victor Lincoln back into the mix, DeSoto didn't do much. Duncanville kind of dominated the second half. I just think Duncanville's a better football team. Maximus the Great Denson, and his name is Maximus the Great Denson. Denson had a breakout performance because DeSoto just kept blitzing, and he just kept making them pay. I think Sarad Baker's unbelievable. He is Sarad Baker might be pound for pound the best football player in the state of Texas. I just don't think DeSoto's got enough around him. They just don't have the depth. They're a good team. And maybe they can get out of Region 2, but Region 2 and 6A Division 6A Region 2 Division 2, it's going to be real tough. And so right now, I think DeSoto's good, but I think they're a flawed football team for sure.
I'm glad you mentioned that because one of the things that I noticed that too is DeSoto kept sending numbers on defense. They kept blitzing. a lot, which is fine if you get home. But that tells me, that tells me that they don't feel like they can get home with their front with just blitzing, rushing 4. And that, if you want to go back to those 2 title teams they had, those back-to-back title teams, the underrated part of those teams were the defensive lines.
Yeah, they could get to you with 4 and play that shell in the secondary and kind of keep everything in front of them and then break on some footballs. They can't. They just don't have the ability to do that right now. And then, Duncanville's not a great running football team, but teams have shown they can run the football at times. North Crowley showed that in their game. You can run the football on DeSoto as well. So,
Alamo Heights goes to Victoria West and gets a win, and DK Garza is an insane person.
Yeah,
it's a 5A record for rushing yards, by the way.
Victoria West has a good enough offense to win Region 4, but the defense, maybe it's just DK Garza's that good. I don't know, but my goodness, he had over 600 yards of offense. I think he had 527 rushing, and then just for grins, just for funsies, he had like 87 receiving yards. Guess what, guys? A lot of guys when growing up, when Greg Tepper and I grew up, 87 yards was a season receiving. DK Garza had 87 receiving yards in the same game that he ran for 527 yards. He's got that dog in him, y'all.
Yeah, he's insane. And then last one I'll mention here, we should probably close the loop because we talked a lot about it, was Lindsay and Munster. This was a game I was keeping my eye on. Lindsay took a lead to the half. I think 21-14, but Munster roared back, and somebody is going to have an answer for Case and Carney for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, what I'm very impressed with is that defense for Munster really tightened up in the second half. And
second half from the Hornets.
Absolutely. And I thought that, to me, that's what makes them so dangerous. And why they won a state championship last year is that I do not think that Munster was this runaway freight train, so much more talented than everybody. But the thing about them is that they're so good all around that you have to play 48 full minutes to beat them. And Lindsay played about 27, 28 great minutes, but that's the mark of a champion.
I do think if you're a Lindsay fan, last year Munster punted Lindsay into the sun 44-0. I think if you're a Lindsay fan, you're encouraged by this performance. You and I may be seeing Lindsay in a couple of weeks in person, so we'll have a good read on them then. I think there is a chance we get Kraut Bowl Part 2. Ooh. We get extra sauerkraut.
Extra kraut.
Extra kraut, extra brats, Lindsay and Munster Part 2 in the regional final, potentially.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Anyway, those are some games from across the state of Texas in Week 7. Is on to our Week 8 game draft. And if this is your first episode of Tep and Stepp, hello. I'm Tep and that's Stepp and that's VNA. We do this every week. And here's how it works. Stepp and I are going to go back and forth selecting games that we are most interested in. That is the key phrase here. Most interested in. It could be for whatever reason. So last week, Matt Stepp theoretically could have taken
Olney 54, Abilene TLC 0. Oof.
Dang, Cubs just got out the stick. Impressive from the Cubs. He could take that. And this week, he could hypothetically take.
Oh, God, I did not pick a random game.
Okay.
I'm picking one right now. No,
okay,
I got one pulled up. I got one.
Okay.
Austin Aikens at Austin High.
Okay. Aikens was off to a moment on Austin Aikens.
It's been a weird season for them.
This is a weird year. So Aikens has had a really nice year. They're 4-2, and I want to say they were undefeated at 4-0, and then their coach left.
Yeah, their coach Joey Sachs leaves and takes the assistant AD job in Corpus Christi ISD. I wonder, did he see maybe that, we're playing Dripping Springs and Westlake to open districts. Okay. Let's just get out of here now and go to. I'm sure it wasn't the case, but it kind of worked out that way. So
I remember seeing that High. I think I texted you and I was like, dude, did you see that the Aikens coach left in the middle of the year? Like it's not like he like stepped down. It's like, oh, we're 0-4 and things are not going well. It's like, no, things are actually going great for Aikens.
He messaged me the night before he announced it and said, hey, I'm announcing this tomorrow, et cetera. My DC is going to take over this. He kind of said, hey, it's always been my dream to kind of be an athletic administrator, and this is a chance for me to fulfill my dream. I just hate that it kind of happened mid-season, which I get. So sometimes timing, it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. We had a fake coin flip before the show. I won the fake coin flip, which means I get pick 1-1 this week. And right out of the gates, I'm going to do an Anthony Bennett, although it's hopefully better than that, because I'm going to go a little bit off the board with 1-1.
Okay.
But it's a game that I think I've talked myself into being the most fun game of the week. And again, you can draft for whatever reason. Matt Stepp, 7:00 Friday night at Woodforest Bank Stadium in Shenandoah.
Oh, man.
It is the 7-0 Woodlands College Park Cavaliers taking on the 6-1, 5-1. Let's see, 5-1. The Woodlands Highlanders. Is there a rivalry name for this? I'm not trying to be a jerk.
I don't know. Maybe if there is, I don't know. Maybe we need to. I need to text my guy Kyle Coates there at College Park and find out.
It is a District 13 6A showdown with a ton on the line for seeding reasons. A ton on the line for playoff reasons. A ton on the line for district. It's a massive game. A question, and not a not a rhetorical one. Is this the biggest game in College Park history?
Other than maybe like a second round playoff. I think they've been in the second round playoffs twice.
Yeah.
Maybe I think in 2020
it's up there. It's up there.
This is absolutely the biggest regular season game in College Park history.
Yes.
100%.
So you mentioned your guy Kyle Coates, and let's just stop right there. There is a real argument for Kyle Coates as the 6A coach of the year right now. What he is doing at College Park is crazy work. Okay. That like College Park, and I want to say this respectfully, because there are like, you look at Conroe ISD, right? And like Conroe's has been in a tough way for quite a while. Like as far like it has always been the Woodlands. Oak Ridge has had some times where they've been really, really good.
Yeah.
You could make an argument that Grand Oaks in their infancy has like more buzz around them than College Park, like historically. Even in their short history. Buddy, College Park is legit, and I am here to tell you, it is not smoke and mirrors.
No, I've seen them in person. They're
really good.
Yeah, they've got all the pieces that you need to make a deep run, and you know, the defense is what impressed me the most when I saw them in person. You know, Marco Beltran is a ball playing dude.
He is a guy. You know what he is? Is he? I presume. You know, I don't know this. I presume he's got to be like a prospect because I think he.
I know he's got a Montana State offer, which is a really good FCS offer. Really good. But
yeah, so
Danny Davis does not approve of that Montana State offer.
So he's got offers from the academies.
Yeah.
From the academies, Houston Christian's offer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I am here to tell you that I think Marco Beltran might be a Torian York All-Star. Like just a guy who's just like, you watch him, you're like, why isn't everyone in America off? This guy's awesome.
All he does is make plays.
All he does is make plays. Quarterback Camden Hughes has been awesome. 30 total touchdowns. They got a bunch of great receivers. This team is not smoke and mirrors. They are legit. Well, here comes Big Brother. And here comes the Woodlands, who they had that hiccup against Willis. Since then, they've played teams that are a lot better.
They got Jermaine Bishop that night.
But since then they're rolling again. Defense has been great. Their pass, this is going to stun you guys. Their pass at the Woodlands is awesome. Magnus Herndon has got like 10 sacks already this year. He's a freak show. And they got a quarterback in Jack Dalton, who has been really, really rock solid for them. It's impossible to ignore history here. The Woodlands, this is the 20th time these teams have met. The Woodlands has won 17 of the 19 meetings. Okay.
Yeah. I think College Park got him in 2020, which was a weird year. They played in Thanksgiving weekend in a regular season football game, which tells you how weird it was.
Yes. It is like, this is, when I say Big Brother, I mean, like, they are obviously the older program. College Park got started like early 2000s, I want to say.
Yeah. And they were bad for a long time. College Park was not good for the first 15.
They were a non-factor as far as high school football is concerned. So there's that. And then they're also Big Brother because they've dominated the series. College Park, I think College Park's going to beat them. I think College Park's going to beat them.
I agree. Yeah. I think College Park, the two X factors are those two defensive tackles, Jordan Grant and RJ Wims. And then they had the Cromartie kid, Julian Cromartie, move in from San Diego this offseason. He to the offensive side of the ball. And he's just now he's that deep threat they really didn't have on the outside. Now they've got all these little slots that can kind of go over the middle, and they got a big tight end, but they didn't have to stretch the field guy. Now they have a stretch the field guy. It's made a world of difference. This is a complete football team. They're going to go to the Division II bracket in 6A Region 2, Division 2. And we're all going to be talking about DeSoto and Longview, if Longview makes the playoffs. More on that later. North Forney, if they make the playoffs. And we're not even thinking about a team from Houston. Guys, put College Park on the radar. They are for real, y'all.
I'm in. I'm in on College Park. They'll go to separate ways, so this is only for district championship like mentality because the College Park or the Woodlands is going D1.
This is one that both teams want. This is bragging rights. This is big.
And this is for me, like, obviously they've got eyes like Kyle Coates doesn't want to win a district championship, he wants to win a state championship. But if you want to talk about we have arrived moment, if you beat the Woodlands to go to 8-0, buddy, like let's start talking big picture. So that's my first pick, College Park and the Woodlands. I'm fired up. I think it's gonna be great. So what is your first pick, Matthew?
Let's go. 7:00 Friday night at Tiger Stadium in Dripping Springs. It is a top 10 matchup in Class 6A as number 4 Lake Travis visits number 10 Dripping Springs live on Texan Live.
Thank you.
There we go. And I think this is our we're gonna start to find out in 26 6A this week. There's a big 3 in this district with Lake Travis, Westlake, and Dripping Springs. They haven't played each other yet. This is the first meeting between the big 3. And for Lake Travis, it's been quiet efficiency from Lake Travis that's really been impressive to me. We haven't really just talked a ton about them because they just kind of been mowing people down. Started in non-district with convincing wins over Martin, Rockwall, and Midland Legacy, and San Marcos to close it out. They opened up district with 2 blowout wins over overmatched opponents. Van hopping in that offense. We had some questions about the quarterback situation. It feels like Lake Travis just fine at quarterback. No, thank you very much. They're at they had one game against Rockwall where they only scored 28. Other than that, they've been 40 plus every game. And hey, the Rockwall game, Rockwall's pretty good. They beat North Crowley. They're pretty salty. So Lake Travis has been just fine on offense. But what has been key for Lake Travis is that defense. That defensive line led by Carter Buck, which that's, by the way, Carter Buck, great name for a defensive lineman, by the way.
Absolutely.
They've been outstanding. The TCU commit has been dominant on that defensive line. Lake Travis's defense is very, very good, and that's key. Now, if you were to say there's an area of Lake Travis's defense that maybe isn't as strong as the others, I could say the secondary, right? Well, Dripping Springs can test Lake Travis's secondary because they've got 2 dudes on the outside that are both 6'4", and Cooper Reed and Merrick Bloomgren that can absolutely hurt you. And so this is a fascinating matchup to see kind of how that chess match goes between the two teams. Now, Drip started out the year and made a statement right off the bat. Blew Austin Vandergrift, defending state champion Vandergrift, out 41-14. And they've been kind of bumping along, close win over Harker Heights and kind of blowing teams away. And then last week they played Austin Bowie. And Austin Bowie, I think, is a play. I think they're the fourth playoff team, which would push Westlake Division II. 28-21. A little concerned. Now, is that Austin Bowie being very good? Is that Dripping Springs maybe peeking ahead to Lake Travis this week and not fully engaged? I don't know. We'll see. But a little bit of a concern, especially considering Lake Travis handled Austin Bowie 63-21 when they played. Now, Bowie did lead 7-0 for a good portion of the first half of that game. Then Lake Travis just scored like 35 points in 5 minutes. But it tells me it's interesting, right? I think the key here is Dripping Springs defense. Can they hold up against that Lake Travis offense doesn't have the flashy playmakers, but is more of a ground-oriented offense? Can Dripping Springs hold up? I think they'll get some plays in the passing game with Bloomgren and Reed, but can Dripping Springs stop the run and hold up against that Lake Travis offense? That's the key that I'm watching. I know one thing. The coaches in this game will eat good in the press box because Dripping Springs has the fried catfish in the press box, world famous fried catfish in the press box there in Dripping Springs. And by the way, this is funny. Lake Travis is actually playing their home games at the end of the season in Dripping Springs because of construction of their facility. So it's kind of a home away from home a little bit for Lake Travis. But I like the Cavs in this one. I think Lake Travis right now is establishing themselves quietly as a team that obviously I think they're the favorite in 6A Division I Region 4, and they're the number 4 team in the state. We just haven't talked about them very much. And I think after this week we may talk about them quite a bit. Give me Lake Travis.
Agree with everything you said, and I'm going to add one thing, which is I am going to I think it's the first time I'm going to hit this button. There's a button over here. It just says trap game. I'm just gonna hit this button here. Because here's the thing. Matt Stepp, let's give people a little preview to next week's Tep and Step. Who does Lake Travis play?
I'm guessing it is a team on a lake that is west.
It is, in fact, the Austin Westlake Chaparrals. And here is the thing. Now, I trust Hank Carter to get his boys ready and squared away, and they're going to be ready to roll. If they have even an inkling of peeking ahead and looking ahead, Dripping Springs is the wrong team to do that against. The wrong team. Sure. Yeah. Yes. So there's a little bit of look ahead letdown here.
I like that angle there. It's a good call.
Yeah. Keep an eye on that. It's a trap game, but I do like LT to get the win. But keep an eye on.
We'll talk about Lake Travis and Westlake next week.
Perhaps.
Is it on the draft board?
I've been formulating my board. I haven't. We'll see. I don't know who's.
Okay, you work on the big board.
Gotta
call Norm, right?
Yeah, I'm going to call Norm. Listen, it's a great pick. 7:00
Rough.
Friday night at Memorial Stadium in Port Arthur, to the home of UGK.
Oh, yes.
That's right. Let's go to Port Arthur, where I was once told by a mutual friend of ours, said, here's the thing about Port Arthur, is that if you meet a friend from Port Arthur, you better make sure you stay friends with them because they know how to fight.
Yeah.
And it is a huge District 9-5A Division I matchup as the Port Arthur Memorial Titans welcome in the Beaumont Westbrook Bruins.
409 is going to be buzzing. When Beaumont and Port Arthur play, it gets rowdy.
It's going to be rowdy. Is this the game of the year in the 409? I mean,
Nederland's down, and they haven't played P&G yet. So
you can make an argument. We'll have Mid-County Madness later.
I think there's a strong case. This is the most a lot of playoff meaning in this game. Two really good teams.
Port Arthur Memorial undefeated. This is also I'm ready to give them this seal of approval. Matt Stepp, Port Arthur Memorial is a wagon. Okay.
Yeah, that was a pretty thorough win over Barbers Hill last week on the road. They went to Barbers Hill, and put it to the Eagles.
And they
Barbers Hill Are you concerned about Barbers Hill?
A little bit.
Last 2 weeks.
Who do they have this week? They've got Beaumont United, and I got to tell you, United.
They're improved. United's
They're
improved.
better.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on the road. They got to go to Beaumont.
Mm-hmm. It's not fun. But Port Arthur Memorial, a wagon. And I mean, you look at what they've done, just the score lines, and admittedly, like I think they're better than every team that they've played, but like they have given up 20 points in the last 4 games. I mean, they've been suffocating people. Tank King, their linebacker, another dude with great name.
You're a linebacker. Your name is Tank. You're probably really good. They don't nickname 5'8", 140-pound guys Tank.
No,
usually.
Tank. They don't. No. Here's the other thing.
So he's a
they are one of 7 teams in 5A Division I averaging 50+ points per game, and they get it done beating your ass up front and running the ball. Just that, like when I said that, like guys from Port Arthur know how to fight. These guys know how to fight in the trenches. Like they are awesome up front, and they've got a bunch of guys that they can hand the ball. Monty Martin, their quarterback, has been great. Alex Eugene, Desmond Washington. They've got waves of guys.
Yeah. They've got a lot of guys who are 3 years. There are a lot of guys who've been playing varsity football for 3 seasons. This is the senior class they've been waiting on down there.
Well, here comes Beaumont Westbrook. And after a couple of years in which we wondered if it was just over, you know what I mean? Like if it was just over for Westbrook. They had some really tough years.
They played for a state championship in 6A in 2018.
And then
they had really 10 season 2 years ago.
Yeah, they just faded. But I will tell you, they are back. Chuck Langston has gotten them on the good foot. And this is, I mean, they've got some really nice wins, especially like last week. I thought what they did to Baytown Sterling was impressive. 37-7 romped them. They have an overtime loss at Lufkin. I'm just telling you, a couple of years ago, they lose that game by 40.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's a bunch of different reasons. I think their defense is a lot better with Zachary Blanchard, but there is one big reason that I think they're here. Mm-hmm. Have you heard the good news about Tam Anderson? Their quarterback, their dual threat quarterback, a junior, he has been a revelation for them. He has been so good for them and just breathed new life into this offense. He is, I'll say this, I think he's the most dynamic offensive weapon in this game there at Westbrook. He is fun to watch. And this is a real showcase for him. Can he step up? Because I think that Beaumont Westbrook probably has the better depth of talent. And I think that is ultimately going to be what wins out. I just think Memorial, they come at you in waves. Like they're deep and they're experienced and they're dangerous. But Westbrook's got a guy who can take over. Can the defense hold the minute long enough to allow him to make some plays? That's something I'm keeping an eye on. In the end, it's pretty hard for me to pick against Port Arthur Memorial at Memorial Stadium. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be rocking there. It's going to be like if you want a charged atmosphere, let's say. Yeah, that will be a charged atmosphere.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I agree. Yeah. I like Port Arthur Memorial. I think they're front end talent. This is Westbrook's this group at Westbrook. It's kind of their first big game. Port Arthur's been to the playoffs, so this is kind of a learning experience for Westbrook. I do think Westbrook is a playoff team, though.
Yeah, I do too. But this is a really fun ball game with a really fun atmosphere there at Memorial Stadium in Port Arthur. It's my second pick, Port Arthur Memorial and Beaumont Westbrook. What is your second pick, Matthew?
7:00 Friday night. Let's head out to Smith County in East Texas as the Kilgore Bulldogs visit the undefeated Lindale Eagles in a game that I think is going to be for the District 9 4A Division I championship. The title will get decided on Friday night in Lindale. Doc's Pizza will be eaten in the press box. We've eaten at Doc's.
It's very good.
Yes, we've eaten at Doc's. Kilgore comes to town with a defense that is just nasty, y'all. Clint Fuller has a elite defense that in 7 games, let me do the quick math here, Tepper, 35, 41, 47, 54. Should have had this done already, 66.
This is great. This is quality broadcasting.
Averaging they're allowing just over 10 points a game. They've allowed 73 points this season. But
certainly, Stepp, you're talking about a team that hasn't played anybody. Like if they're giving up 10 points a game, then I'm sure they haven't played anybody.
Well, they have wins over Pleasant Grove, Henderson, and Chapel Hill, in admittedly a down Gilmer squad. They do have a win over Gilmer. And they also played Carthage. In their one loss to Carthage, they allowed they just got housed and allowed a total of 21 points in that game. 21-10. So the defense, no notes. Kilgore's defense, elite. They have been outstanding. The offense, I've got some concerns, and I'm ready to at least say there's some red flags being thrown up because against good football teams, the teams that have a winning record, Kilgore's only averaging about 21 points a game. Last week, it's not because they're not moving the football; they're not finishing drives. They're just not finished. They're moving the ball between the 20s and they're stalling out in the red zone. Last week, they had a couple of opportunities. They could have had that Chapel Hill game put away in the first half, yet they don't convert on a couple of opportunities, and it's 14-0, 21-7. They just can't put teams away. They beat Chapel Hill 28-7, but they couldn't just put the foot down on them. The same thing with Henderson last week. They only beat Henderson 27-12 2 weeks ago. Henderson, much improved. Ricky Joe Meeks has Henderson back. I think Henderson's a playoff team, but they beat Henderson 27-12. The Pleasant Grove game, they beat Pleasant Grove 18-6. And you see the pattern here. They're kind of scoring in the 20s. Their defense has been great, but they're just not. They're going to need to play better and more efficient on the offensive side of the ball if they want to get back to a state title game and potentially win a state title game.
Yeah, they don't have like a game breaker. They don't have like a you hate to say like finisher, but a guy who can just be like just take off and just be like, okay, I'm going to score the 60-yard touchdown. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they'll move the ball and then like it'll stall out because they don't have that go-to guy to push it across.
And maybe that go-to guy eventually ends up being Keelan Graves, the Texas State commit. But he's primarily playing defense for the most part. But I think in the playoffs they're going to hit the Keelan Graves button a few times and just say, hey, go out and make a play, and just not saying throw it up to him, but they're going to have some. He's going to be much more involved in the offense, I think, in playoffs than he is right now. And we may see him this week against Lindale because I think Kilgore is going to need to score points against Lindale because this Lindale offense has been outstanding. They have scored at least 28 points in all 6 games. The last 4 games they've been rolling. They took care of Palestine 43-14 last week. Palestine is admittedly down, but the week before was the eye opener. They handled Chapel Hill 64-28, and Emilian Johnson, David Linding at quarterback. I saw Lindale in 7-on-7, and I was like, man, they look a lot more offensively skilled and talented than they have been in the past, and they're showing that. Their offense has been a wagon all season long. And then you throw in that great defensive line that they have. Caleb Walker, the Texas Tech commit, leads that group. They've got Cam Beeson. They've got Jackson Price plays both ways. They've got a lot of guys that can do damage on the defensive line. It's Caleb Walker who's the leader of that defense. This is a good defense. Secondary probably is kind of like Lake Travis a little bit. If there's a weaker area, I'd say it's the secondary. But when you have an elite defensive line like that, you can not be as good in the secondary because they're going to get to the quarterback. Is this the game that Kilgore quarterback Kason Brooks breaks out? Does he have the breakout game? And do they get that running game? Rayshawn Williams, Isaiah Waters, do they get those guys going against Lindale? That's the key here. I've been going back and forth on this one because Lindale's tough to beat at home. It is hard to go into Lindale and win.
Lindale this is a very high compliment that I want to pay to Chris Cochran's ball club. They will fight you to the gates of hell. They are scrappy. They are just even when they're not an underdog, they play like an underdog, if that makes sense.
Yeah. They play the chip on their shoulder. They really do. And they're hard to beat at home. They have home field advantage of high school. You can kind of say what you want. For whatever reason, Lindale at home, tough to beat. I do think Kilgore is a lot of what you said about Lindale. They're scrappy. They'll fight you. They play tough. They take on the personality of their head coach, Clint Fuller, who's that kind of guy. I think Kilgore, top to bottom, a little more talented, a little bit more team speed. I give a slight edge to Kilgore. I'm going to say it's going to be a 28, and it's because of Kilgore's defense. At all three levels, they're really, really good. I think this is a 28-24 knockdown, drag-out kind of football game, and it would not surprise me if this is the first of two meetings between. I can see a Kilgore-Lindale regional final taking place at Rose Stadium, and if it's at Rose Stadium regional final, Matt Stepp might be in attendance because I'm always looking for an excuse to go to Rose Stadium.
That's not a bad pull there. It's a fascinating ball game, and I think you're right. I think this comes down to Lindale's defense being able to bow up and match them stop for stop, because we know that Kilgore defense is going to bring the heat. Fun game out east. I'm going to stay in 4A. My third pick, 7:00 Friday night at Gobbler Stadium in Cuero. It is a very big game between the Cuero Gobblers. This is a District 15 4A Division II game between the Cuero Gobblers at 6-1 and the Sinton Pirates at 6-0. And a word on Cuero last week.
Yeah. They blew a 42-21 third quarter lead to Rockport Fulton.
They were so if you don't know, Rockport Fulton beats them 57-56. And it's a real head scratcher because Cuero had looked, hey, we're cruising along. There were but in hindsight, there were a couple of moments during the season, during the early in the regular season, where you're like, "Oh, that defense, a little troubling." And it finally bit them, 57-56. We know that they can score. I ain't worried. I have zero concerns about the Cuero offense. Zero.
Cuero's going to score. Yeah.
Jackson Marie is awesome. Their quarterback. He had 7 total touchdowns last week. We know Walker Dietz is incredible. They've got another guy, DeXavier Bonner, who's really good out wide as well. They can run the ball. Camilo Perez. They rang up 566 yards of total offense against Rockport Fulton. No notes. Rockport Fulton, a good team, and shout out to Eric Souza. Great win. Really, probably the biggest win of his young coaching career.
For sure. 22
Rockport,
points in the fourth quarter to rally to win. Yeah, for sure.
Rockport Fulton runs for 454 yards. They run for 9.7 yards per carry.
That's
troubling. Yeah. Troubling, because Matt Stepp, allow me to introduce you to the Sinton Pirates at 6-0, who have a gentleman by the name of Micah Green.
who does not run like a gentleman. He runs like an angry person.
Micah Green is averaging 13.5 yards a carry this season. He has run for 1,500 yards and 19 touchdowns. And one thing we will say about Michael Troutman, the head coach at Sinton, he is not shy about what their game plan is going to be.
Well, is there anything shy about Mike Troutman, the Sinton head coach?
Not a single thing that is shy about him. They're going to hand the ball off to Micah Green. He might get 50 carries in this game. Because
right until the wheels fall off.
Because he has been a monster. But I think that also that might I want to make sure we're not overlooking the fact that this is also, I think, a really sound Sinton defense. Okay. Jonathan Rivas, Ace Fuentes, they are very strong defensively. And I think that another team that I think has quietly moved to 6-0, but I think it's because you could maybe, I mean, I don't know. I think they've got a couple signature wins. I think that win over Gregory Portland is really good.
It's aging really well. I think Gregory Portland's a 5A district champion.
And then, by the way, they followed that up going to Cal Allen and beating Cal Allen. They are
Division I district champion.
They are rolling right now. Now, I still think that this is. I'll say this: Sinton's still got to get through Rockport Fulton at the end of the season. And by the way, Robstown's 6-1 in that district. But for Sinton, this is probably. I think they look at this and say, if we go on the road and we beat Cuero, we are at the very least in the driver's seat for the district title and that top spot. And I would say, looking at the way at 4A Division 1, Region 4 is looking, or 4A Division 2, Region 1, or Region 4, rather. Golly, I'm sorry. I'm drunk.
A lot of numbers floating. By the way, did you see Wimberley lost last week?
Mm-hmm. Right now, I'll just say this.
All right,
Sinton wins this game. And I think they will. I think they are the clear favorite in Region 4.
Okay. I can see it.
I think they're gonna. Now they got to go to Cuero, and that they are gonna be coached very hard this week.
Pissed off bunch of turkeys this week.
I think Coach Fekoch is going to coach him hard, and it ain't easy going to Cuero and winning a game. That is a town, I've said before, that is a town full of crazy people. So, but I do like Sinton. I think they match up well in this one, so I'm excited about that one. What's your third pick?
I've gone back and forth. I'm going to go Cuero at home. I think Cuero bounces back this week.
Don't have two bad games in a row. I think that's fair too. I'm going to go with Sinton. What's your third pick, Matthew?
7:00 Friday night at Longhorn Stadium in Cedar Hill. Live on Texan Live. Let's go. The Waxahachie Indians come to town to take on the Cedar Hill Longhorns in a really fascinating game at 11-6A, because I think we're going to find this is Cedar Hill's first foray into that top creme brulee of 11-6A as they take on Waxahachie. Now, we know Waxahachie, Duncanville, and DeSoto all split against each other, with Waxahachie beating Duncanville, losing to DeSoto. Cedar Hill has not played any of the top teams yet. Now, they've looked really good in district play. They big win over Lancaster to open district a couple of weeks ago. They opened up district play, dominating Skyline. They beat Mesquite last week. Cedar Hill, outstanding, and it's because of that defense. Cedar Hill's defensive line might be the best defensive line in Class 6A. Jalen Brewster is a certified problem. Maybe the number one defensive tackle in the class of 2027 in the country. Mm-hmm. Texas, by the way, committed to Texas Tech. The Red Raiders just keep getting defensive linemen to go there. They can't
keep getting away with it.
They've cracked the code. Let's just get all the best defensive linemen in every year and just beat the hell out of everyone. Bold move by Joey McGuire. And by the way, Jalen Brewster, Cedar Hill guy, Joey McGuire, former Cedar Hill coach. Mm-hmm. Not saying there was something there, but maybe there was. Could also be.
He might still have a key to the facility.
He might. Now, Cedar Hill's offense is not. I mean, it's not what you would call explosive, but they've been good. Omawale Muhammad has been very good. Jules Carter, the running back, but the quarterback Muhammad has really taken a step this year and operated that Cedar Hill offense. The biggest key for Cedar Hill is when you've got a defense like that, just don't turn it over. And he is taking good care of the football. Sometimes when you have sometimes it's going to sound weird. Sometimes a punt is not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. For Cedar Hill, punting is not terrible because guess what? We get to throw our defense back out there who's going to kick the crap out of you. That's been the key for Cedar Hill. Now, Waxahachie, you come into this game and they were flying high after beating Duncanville. They They cruise into DeSoto, and they're thinking they're going to wreck DeSoto's homecoming. And Claude Mathis said, "Nope, hold on there, buddy. Down 35. We still got this." DeSoto kind of put it on them 40-17. Now they bounced back last week. They blow away Mesquite Horn 56-20. Mesquite Horn's down. Vernon Hughes is going to do a good job there, but they're rebuilding a little bit. So some concerns there. I think the key here for Waxahachie, kind of the tell for them is how they run the football, and excuse me, how they run the football and how they stop the run. Against Duncanville, they weren't able to run the football very great, but they were able to run it enough to keep them honest. No running game against DeSoto. They could not run the football. And then what happened is DeSoto was able to pin their ears back and get after Jerry Meyer. The other thing is stopping the run. In the Duncanville game, Duncanville averaged less than 2 yards per carry against the Waxahachie run defense. Against DeSoto, Waxahachie allowed nearly 7 yards per run. That is a handcrafted stat from our friends at Cover Zero. That's the key here. That's the key. Can Waxahachie stop? When Waxahachie stops the run, they're really, really good, and they're hard to beat. When they don't stop the run, it becomes a problem. I also want to see Jerry Meyer's been really up and down this year. He's had some games where it's like, okay, I see why TCU's offered this guy a scholarship and why he's committed. And there's been games where I'm like, what's going on there? So I want to see that. And then the X factor is Waxahachie's special teams. Waxahachie has been able to get points on special teams most of the year. They are great in the return game. Those are the things I'm watching. I think that's the difference here. I think Cedar Hill's a little one-dimensional, and they're real defense heavy. I think Waxahachie a little more complete. I like Waxahachie in this one, but that Cedar Hill defense is good enough to keep them in any game against anyone in the state. Can they do it again? Now the one test Cedar Hill had, they failed miserably. They went to Allen and got pantsed pretty good by Allen. And maybe Allen's that good, but maybe Cedar Hill just had a bad night. We'll see. I like Waxahachie in this one to go to Cedar Hill and get a big district win.
This will be a lot closer to finding out a lot more about Cedar Hill, and especially you're right. Like there's a very clear path for them, which is like defense holds a minute, they break a couple big plays, and they win it late, basically. But they can do that to basically anybody. You know, like that's the beauty of having a defense like they're going to have. It's a good pick, and yeah, 11-6A heats up. Don't think that just because it's past Duncanville, DeSoto, that things are slowing down there. My fourth pick, Matthew, 7:00 Friday night at Unicorn Stadium in New Braunfels.
Oh, home of the Unicorns.
Home of the Unicorns, home of Cliff Kingsbury, as the New Braunfels Unicorns welcome in the Warriors of San Antonio Piper. And there's so many storylines here. Here's the first one. Hey, Matt Stepp, do you know New Braunfels is undefeated?
I did because I'm a sicko, and I've got New Braunfels. If our 5A Division I top 10 went past 10 teams, if it was a top 15 or a top 20, this is the matchup between number 11 and number 12.
So I think New Braunfels they're an interesting case because if you remember last year, they had the really weird 9-4 record. That they get into the playoffs at 7-3, and then suddenly they show up on Thanksgiving, and you're like, "Wait, what are you doing here?" This is, but this is weird. And one of the things that we talk about in the off season of like all year long, as we're finding things to talk about in the off season, is does that type of, to use a Dan McDowell phrase, momentum roll over from season to season?
Sure.
Right? Does a strong finish imply that there will be a strong start to the next season? And I would say, if you want to make the argument that it has for New Braunfels, I think that's fair. They have been excellent, 6-0, as we mentioned, and they do it like there's not one guy. I think their best player is probably their junior running back, Brock Stewart, although I think their quarterback, Levi Gola, is pretty good as well. But really, the headline here for them is that their defense is just rock solid. It's been rock solid. Now, here's another thing. I don't know who they've played.
The schedule has not been the strongest.
Don't apologize for wins, but they are 6-0 against teams that I don't think have necessarily been tested.
Yeah.
Or I don't think they've been tested in the way that they will this week, or certainly like the way that Piper has. Because Piper comes in with an ugly PU 3-3 record. But then you dive just a little bit deeper and you're like, okay, week 1, they have a win against Bernie. Pretty good win. On the road at Bernie. That's Bernie's only loss of the year, by the way. They have a narrow loss at San Antonio Johnson. Well, Johnson is both a 6A and undefeated at the moment.
Correct. And borderline top 25 team in 6A.
They have a narrow loss, a one-score loss to San Antonio Davenport. Well, that is a 4A team, but Davenport's undefeated and state ranked.
Top 5 in the state.
And then they have a 10-point loss at Smithson Valley, defending state champs, district favorites.
Top 5 in the state.
And so I think, here's what I'm saying. I think there is an argument to be made that 6-0 equals 3-3. There is not a lot of daylight between these two teams. And I look at Piper, and when they've run into trouble, it has been that their defense can't figure things out. That they've been touched up defensively, so that's going to be a big challenge for them, for guys like Leighton Springer on the defensive side. The other thing about them is that I think they really, really need to establish a running game to Brady Hopper and company and get that running game going. This is, to me, this feels. I keep coming back to a similar feeling I had with Duncanville and DeSoto, in the sense that one of these teams is going to come out of this and be like, see, we were right. Like New Braunfels is either going to be like, see, we're right. We're 7-0. We're legit. That's a legit win. Or Piper's going to come out of it and say, see, we're better than 3-3. Like we played a team that was undefeated on the road and we came away with a win. A lot to gain here. And then I will say this, I think these are both playoff teams. And so there is seeding jockeying here to go in. The
winner, I think, gets a host. The winner, I think, is probably locked in for at least second place and getting the host in round 1. So
yes,
there's something on the line here.
There's a lot going on here. For New Braunfels, this starts the beginning of a stretch where we're going to find out, because next week they go to Smithson Valley. It becomes a lot more interesting if they win this game. I think I like New Braunfels. I think at home, I think I like New Braunfels to get the win. I think that they can. I think that especially if they get that running game going against a Piper defense that has been susceptible to the run. So I'm gonna go with New Braunfels. Give me the Unicorns.
Okay.
What is your 4th pick, Matthew?
7:00 Friday night at Bulldog Stadium in Yoakum, Texas. The Columbus Cardinals at 4-2 visit the 6-1 Yoakum Bulldogs in a really interesting 12-3A Division I clash, where I think we find out about Yoakum this week. I think this is the week. I've been really high on Yoakum all year. Their one loss is in their rivalry game to Cuero. That's a 4A Cuero team we just talked about, who was undefeated up until last week. And other than that, Yoakum's kind of barreled through some people. A nice win over Port Lavaca Calhoun to open the season. Good win over West Columbia, a good 4A who's probably a district champion that blew out Blanco to close non-district out. Last week, they opened up district play. Take care of Hempstead, 48-13. Hempstead's a little bit improved, but not on Yoakum's level. Yoakum's taking care of business. Xavier Barnett and that speedy Yoakum offense, dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. Here comes Columbus to town, the defending state champs. A little more up and down with Columbus and a little bit more of, I don't know what they are yet. I think what we do know about Columbus is I think the defense is there. Losing John Schobel, we thought, the defense is going to take a step back. I'm looking at Columbus, and they've only allowed more than 20 points in a football game once. And that was in the season opening loss to Cuero. So both these teams have a common opponent in Cuero. Columbus lost that one 28-21 to open the season. Since then, Matt Schobel's ball club has been just dominant. They've only they've allowed 17 points was the most they've allowed in the game. That was in a 17-13 loss to Needville. They have a 20-7 win over Belleville a couple weeks ago, which looks a lot better now considering what Belleville did to Sealy last week. It's Columbus offense kind of started to find their footing in the last non-district game against Rogers, beating them 40-7. What we do know about Columbus is their offensive line is elite. They have maybe the best offensive line in 3A Division I, and they've got one of the best receivers there in Braylon Fisher. It's really been about Jack Schobel finding that comfort level at quarterback and developing a running game to go along with that offensive line. I think Columbus started to find some things last week. They're coming off the bye week, so they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this one. I think we start to see that Columbus machine kind of get online this week, and I think they go to Yoakum and get a big win. Now, what I want to see from Yoakum, though, even if they lose, how competitive they are, because I think Yoakum and Hitchcock in a couple of weeks could be for second place in seeding. I think Yoakum has enough juice to get past Hitchcock. That's the game I'm watching. I think Columbus up front, offensive and defensive lines, will negate the Yoakum speed advantage here. Give me Columbus to go on the road and open. This is their district opener because they're coming off their bye. Gets the win here, but a really fascinating Class 3A matchup.
Okay. I'm very into it. And this is a game that, like, again, kind of like what you were talking about. We were talking about earlier with Dripping Springs and Lake Travis, is that there's a trio of teams at the very top. And now we're going to kind of start to sort these two, because between Hitchcock, Columbus, and Yoakum, a lot of fire there, and it wouldn't be a surprise to see at least two of those teams see each other again in the playoffs. So it could be, because I think Yoakum's really, really good. So I'm excited about this one. My fifth and final pick, Matthew. I haven't really dipped into the small schools yet. So in fact, we haven't. Matt Stepp, let me see if I can pull this up.
No 2A games in the pick.
Well, allow me to change that.
Oh.
7 o'clock Friday night at Comanche Field in Stinnett. This is a tasty one up there in the Panhandle in District 1, 2A, Division 1, as the undefeated Panhandle Panthers. No, I'm sorry, 5-1 Panhandle Panthers take on the undefeated Stinnett, West Texas Comanches. And a ton on the line here. And also, here's a hot take, one of the premier quarterback matchups in all of Texas this week.
Interesting. Okay.
So West Texas is off to a 6-0 start. They have been terrific. Their schedule has been such that they have played 5 teams that they're a lot better than, and also they beat Groover.
Pretty good win.
That's what you hang your hat on. Right now, it really depends on what you like. Your opinion on Stinnett, West Texas is what you want to underline. Do you want to underline? Yeah, they played 5 teams that they're a lot better than, or the one time they played a good team, they beat Groover, and it was impressive. And their quarterback, Cade Winters, has been awesome for them. He has been really fun to watch. He is a dynamo. Well, let's talk about dynamos, because Broxton Robinson is
that's a dude that rocks right there.
He is coming to the banquet. Broxton Robinson's coming to the banquet. He's been sensational. If you look at Panhandle, they do have the one loss on the year, but that loss was back in week 3 when they lost at Dalhart by a score. So that's a 3A team by a score on the road. And by the way, it's a good Dalhart team. I think Dalhart's 6-1.
And that's a 3A Division I Dalhart too.
Yes, exactly right. So an impressive, a good loss, so to speak. Jake Kemp was giving me trouble for calling it good losses earlier. Okay, so great quarterback matchup. A lot of it is how for real is Stinnett, West Texas. They've mowed past everyone they've seen, and especially defensively, they have been terrific. But speaking of defensively, Panhandle has pitched 3 consecutive shutouts, including 3 weeks ago, they had an open date when they went to Wellington and shut out previously unbeaten Wellington. 41-0. This feels like a real step up for West Texas in competition. I think that makes Panhandle your favorite. I will say this. The Dave Campbell's computer, has Panhandle as the #1 team in 2A Division 1 right now.
I think they're Broxton Robinson, but they're a lot more than just Broxton Robinson. If they're going to start playing that kind of defense, Tepper, Panhandle could win a state championship.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. And here's the other thing. I mentioned this on Texas Football today on Monday, about District 1. This is when you start thinking about playoff matchups. District 1 matches up with District 2. Well, District 2 is turning out to be pretty salty. I mean, New Deal just beat Post. New Home has been very good. I am not giving up on Abernathy yet. So this is a district in which, and I do think that this is for the, let me make sure I'm not putting my foot in my mouth. I mean, Spearman's dangerous too, but I think this is probably for the district title between these two teams. You want to finish as high as possible because there's a chance Post falls to 3rd. And so if you finish 2nd, that means that you're playing Post in the first round of the playoffs. And I would not want to see Post in the first round of the playoffs.
Little note on Post. I might have them 4th.
So Abernathy, New Deal, and New Home.
Yeah, they already got they have a head-to-head loss to New Deal, and I think Abernathy and New Home are better than New Deal.
That's true. All right, that's my fifth pick. What is your 5th and final pick, Matthew?
Greg Tepper.
Yeah.
You know I love the 915. I got to go back. 7:00 Mountain Time at Trooper Stadium. It's now the biggest game in El Paso.
Eastwood keeps doing it.
The 5-1 El Paso Pebble Hills Spartans visit the house that Julio Lopez built. Not really, but the Eastwood Troopers, 6-1, 3-0. And let me tell you, Julio Lopez kept the receipts. I got a text from Coach Lopez, I believe Saturday morning, with the screenshot of our computer picks that had, I think, Franklin by 18. And not only did Eastwood beat El Paso Franklin last week, looking around here, they kind of handled them 49-26. And if you have not heard the good news about Kingston Jeffries, well, let me tell you, 6 touchdowns, nearly 400 yards of offense, leading the Troopers to that big win over Franklin. And most impressive is Eastwood's defense came to play. They slowed Ernie Powers down. I didn't get final stats to see if he actually broke the El Paso touchdown record, but Franklin only had 26 points, well below their season average. So Eastwood is not a team that is known to play like great defense, but they were good last week in that win. And they're all with that offense, you just need to be good on defense. And so Eastwood, they have a chance basically to wrap the district title up this week.
Yes.
Because the last kind of hurdle for Eastwood is Pebble Hills. Because after that, the schedule lightens up a little bit for the Troopers the last 2 weeks of the season. Then they get the dreaded week 11 bye. Well, here comes Pebble Hills, fresh off their own demolition of Montwood, 62-21. And Pebble Hills, their offense can cook. You've got Joe Fernandez leading the way on offense, but this tight end, Noah Tarrant, 2028, just got an LSU offer. Texas and Ohio State are sniffing around. Unbelievable. LJ Bailey, also multiple Division I offers. He's just a sophomore. I'm telling you now, El Paso, Pebble Hills, the next couple of years, going to be a real problem in the 9-1-5. But these guys are young. We're talking about a freshman and a sophomore, a junior quarterback. So there's some pieces there at Pebble Hills that are going to be there for the next couple of years that are going to make them dangerous. I just feel like it's Eastwood's time. They had such bad luck last year. They were just riddled with injuries. But it turned out to be a blessing for this year because all those young guys got experience. Now this is an Eastwood team with a ton of depth. Kingston Jeffries, the junior quarterback, Jude Walker. They got playmakers all over the place, guys that have a ton of varsity experience. They've handled business. This looks like the Eastwood team we've seen the past couple of years. El Paso struggled last year in the playoffs as a city. I think Eastwood has the potential to get out of the first round and maybe even get – if the bracket breaks right, like this is a team that can play on Thanksgiving weekend. They are that good. I think Pebble Hills is going to be a good team for years to come, but this is Eastwood's time. I ain't picking against you again, Julio Lopez, because I don't want those text messages from you. Give me the Troopers.
I need to check because I already recorded my picks video. Let me make sure. Yeah, I like El Paso Eastwood over El Paso Pebble Hills. I want to make sure I'm
all right. So
I think it's close. I do think it's close though. I do think it's close.
Don't text Pepper and I.
I think it's a good Pebble Hills team though.
If the computer picks Pebble Hills, I agree. If the computer picks Pebble Hills, don't text the computer. Don't text AI.
The computer.
Don't text us.
Yeah, exactly right.
Text
it is.
AI.
Your week 8 game draft. I took the Woodlands College Park, the Woodlands, Beaumont, Westbrook, Port Arthur Memorial, Sinton and Cuero, New Braunfels and San Antonio Piper, and Panhandle and Stinnett, West Texas. Stepp took Lake Travis, Dripping Springs, Kilgore, Lindale, Cedar Hill, Waxahachie, Yoakum and Columbus, and El Paso Eastwood, El Paso Pebble Hills. Boy, I was living in Southeast Texas this week.
You're big, Houston, Beaumont area.
Yeah, Beaumont area. Really. Yeah. Well, my hipster game might fall in that same category as well, because it's time for our hipster game of the week. Matt Stepp, what is your hipster game of the week?
I don't know where this game is. I forgot to. Hang on 1 second. It's in Denton County. I know that. This is a VNA. This is in VNA Moreno territory here in Denton County, as we have
VNA Morenoville.
Friday night, 7:00 at Indian Stadium in Sanger. Mm-hmm. The Crum Bobcats come to town to take on the Sanger Indians in I think the district title is on the line here in 5-4A Division II, as Crum comes in at 5-0, undefeated, 3-0 in district. Sanger comes in at 5-2 in 3-0 in district. And, man, if you have not heard the good news about Sanger running back Reggie Price, you need to take a look at this guy. This kid's unbelievable, putting up huge numbers. Sanger last week beat Van Alstyne 73-23.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good Van Alstyne team that Chad Rogers Ball Club beat him by a 50 burger. They didn't just throw a 70 burger on him and then beat him by a 50 burger. Really impressive from Sanger. Their 2 losses are to a really good Paris team in 4A Division II and to Gunner. And they gave Gunner a really good game. I was at that game. They gave Gunner a heck of a run. So Sanger's resume, pretty good. You got Crum, undefeated. Haven't played quite the schedule Sanger played, but they're taking care of business. Common opponent here. They played Van Alstyne 2 weeks ago and only beat Van Alstyne by 4 points. I think Sanger's winning the district title this week.
Okay.
Give me the Sanger Indians in my hipster pick to take the 5-4A Division II title.
Okay. It's a very, very good pick for a hipster game of the week. Mine actually has a brand name involved.
Okay.
But 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Phil Danaher Stadium in Corpus Christi.
Okay. I know where you're going with this.
As the 6-1, the 5-2 Corpus Christi Calallen Wildcats welcome in the 6-1 Corpus Christi Toloso Midway Warriors. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Warriors.
Yeah, okay. Warriors, yeah.
Fun matchup there in the Corpus Christi area. Tolosa Midway is having a great year. 6-1. I love what Damian Figueroa, their running back, he has been a stud for them, averaging 200 yards per game on the ground, 20 touchdowns on the season.
Last 2 years, he's been unbelievable. He's been great.
He's been so good. And this has been a Tolosa Midway program that has been kind of been bobbing along, not very relevant in Corpus Christi until the last few years, where it's been a steady rise.
They were really a bottom feeder. Mm-hmm. Really, they were a team that struggled.
And they've consistently moved up. Well, here's Calallen. Calallen's 5-2 on the year. They've got the 2 losses earlier to Gregory Portland. It's aged pretty well. And then they had the loss to Sinton. It's a good team. We wondered what Charlie Reed was going to do with this program. They are still running the dang ball with Ricardo Rodriguez, but they can throw the ball. Connor Klosterman, their junior quarterback, has been good. And their defense, pretty strong. Matt Stepp, you know the reason that I'm bringing this up.
Oh, I know exactly why you're bringing it up. What's the streak at?
Corpus Christi Calallen has beaten Tolosa Midway in 41 consecutive meeters.
Yeah.
41 consecutive meetings. The last time that Tolosa Midway beat Calallen was in 1983. And they played every year, by the way. They played like this isn't some like
Yeah, they play every
rivalry
year.
that went dormant.
Yeah.
Every year, always in the same district, every year. Phil Danaher never lost to Toloso Midway.
No.
Okay?
You know what else happened in 1983?
Oh,
The
wow.
Baltimore Orioles won the World Series.
Okay. So now that won't happen this year. But
No, it decidedly will not.
I want to be very clear. At home, I am picking Cal Allen. I am picking against a 41-year streak. But I am saying don't be shocked because this is a good TM team.
Yes.
I think this is a good Toloso Midway team.
And that game, the games have gotten a little bit close. Like in 2023, Cal Allen beat TM 17-0. Like typically, Cal Allen beats TM by 40.
They named their score.
The TM has slowly gotten more competitive over the years with Cal Allen. Yeah.
So is this the year it happened? I ain't picking against it. I'm picking Cal Allen, but there is a 40-plus year streak on the line.
Yes.
On Friday night. And if TM does it, it will be front
there's
page
going to be
news in Corpus Christi.
There's going to be a party over in North Corpus Christi for sure.
It will be. Anyway, that is my hipster game of the week, Toloso Midway and Cal Allen. Let's go to VNA, Tiny VNA Marino to find out what she wrote down. Hi,
Tiny VNA.
Marino.
Yay.
Hello. I wrote down a couple of things. Extra kraut, please.
Yeah, if we do the Kraut Bowl Volume 2 and in the playoffs, which is a real possibility.
I'm hitting the trap game button.
I am. Yeah, like Travis looking ahead past Dripping Springs. Don't do it.
Micah Green does not run like a gentleman.
No,
He's
that's a good
not
way
a
to
nice
put it.
man when he runs the football. No, he is not nice.
I've never talked with him. I would imagine Michael Troutman has
He's a
lot
great
of nice
kid.
things to say about
Great
it.
kid.
Yeah,
Does
great
not
kid,
run
but
like a gentleman.
doesn't run like a gentleman.
That actually said that. And then finally text the computer, not Tepid Step.
Yeah. Julio Lopez. We'll give you the computer's number, and you can just text him. It'll send back a series of ones and zeros.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Matt Stepp, you're in Canada. What's your plan?
So I'm flying back Wednesday night. I'm gonna eat some leftovers. Like literally, as soon as I turn this computer off, I'm going down for leftovers. My wife is an amazing cook, so it's gonna be great. We're gonna eat some leftovers. We're gonna watch the Blue Jays and Mariners, and then we're gonna watch some Monday Night Football. It's gonna be great. Good night.
Excellent.
Good night. Then I'll be
That sounds
back.
like a great night. Oh my gosh.
It's gonna slap y'all, and it's like 50 degrees outside. It's gonna be great. Thursday, I will be in Frisco at the Star.
The Star.
Big game. Frisco and Frisco Wakeland. Not just because Frisco High is Carter Yates' alma mater, but a big game in 5A Division I as Frisco takes on Frisco Wakeland. I think the winner probably hosts a first-round playoff game. The loser probably going to be in third place. So big game. Wakeland's still undefeated. They're 6-0.
That is here's a spoiler for the later in the week. Carter Yates is working on a story of like under the radar undefeated teams, and I would imagine Wakeland may be on the list.
Probably.
Yeah.
Friday night, big game in East Texas. I'm heading out east, so hopefully this game is will allow me to jump on the show Friday night from a random gas station on the way. But Friday night, I will be in Sulphur Springs at Prim Stadium. Old rivalry, Paris and Sulphur Springs. Paris is fresh off a 49-17 win over Aubrey. I think Paris is making the playoffs. They're 5-2. Sulphur Springs lost to Salina last week, 38-14. Lost their quarterback, Deuce Timmons, on the first play of the game to an ankle injury. Word is they're thinking he might be back for the playoffs. So good news if you're a Sulphur Springs fan. But we'll see with the backup quarterback what Sulphur Springs can do. And this is a rivalry game. So
they have played since the first time they met was in 1924. You will be attending the 90th meeting between Paris and Sulphur Springs.
And I plan on pregame going to downtown Sulphur Springs and stopping at the glass bathroom.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to stop at the glass bathroom. We told you about the glass bathroom.
Oh, no. VNA knows. She won't stop talking. She won't stop texting me about it.
Yeah, going to stop at the glass bathrooms. No word yet if it's going to be a number 1 or number 2. TBD on that. And then Saturday, this is a great week for me. Saturday, I'll be at the Oak Cliff Super Bowl. at Kincaid Stadium. Kimball and Carter, 2:00. District title on the line. 8-4A Division I. Should be a big one.
It is the only high school football game of the year where I have an actual rooting interest. My mom is a Kimball Knight, so got to win the Oak Cliff Super Bowl.
All right, we need to clip this and send this to Bam Harrison as Tep Mom takes Kimball, Tepper takes Kimball. So
there you go.
Excited! It's gonna be a great game. Tailgate scene is gonna be off the chain, so I'm looking forward to it. I will go and eat some good food pregame, so it's gonna be great.
That'll be great.
It's going to
be a great week. Great week. TexasFootball.com has everything you need for the Texas high school football weekend. That's going to do it for us. VNA Moreno, thank you for listening to our nonsense. Stepp, thanks for your courage. Talk to you next week on Tepp and Stepp.
Bye.